The soldiers were engaged in battle in the trenches when suddenly a grenade was thrown into their midst. Before the other soldiers could react, a chubby soldier immediately threw himself onto the grenade, covering it with his body. Fortunately, it was a dud, and he wasn't hurt at all. After realizing it was safe, the other soldiers continued fighting. Then, another grenade was thrown in, and another soldier rushed to cover it with his body, but this time, the grenade exploded, killing the soldier instantly. The chubby soldier and his comrades exchanged glances, feeling helpless. Next, a communications soldier arrived to deliver messages. He began calling out names from the envelopes, and each soldier who was called stood up from the trench out of habit, only to be shot dead by enemy snipers. Realizing something was wrong as the number of soldiers dwindled, the communications soldier quickly hid the letters. The officer noticed and approached to ask the communications soldier what was going on. But as soon as he sat down, he noticed two new recruits disobeying orders and got up to reprimand them. Afraid of being punished by the officer, the communications soldier waited until the officer left. He then took out a nail from his bag and placed it on the stool. Soon, the officer returned and reminded the soldiers not to expose themselves above the trench. After speaking, he prepared to sit down to question the communications soldier, but the intense pain from the nail made him stand up involuntarily, and he was also shot dead by the enemy. At this point, the soldiers wanted to smoke to relieve their stress, but there was no fire in the trench. One soldier decided to climb out of the trench, and a tank aimed at him. However, he signaled the tank operator to fire. He then positioned himself to use the explosion to light his cigarette. His comrades approved of this method of lighting a cigarette, and soon, there was only one cigarette left in the pack. The soldier took his buddy's cigarette and said he could perform a magic trick to turn it into 3 cigarettes. He then stuffed the cigarette up his nose, which made his buddy laugh. When his buddy asked where the extra cigarettes were, the soldier feigned innocence, saying he didn't know where they had gone. His buddy was furious and searched him but found nothing. After his buddy stormed off in anger, the soldier looked around to make sure no one was watching. He then quickly took out a lighter from his pocket and lit his nose on fire. It turned out he had deceived his buddy by hiding the cigarette in his nose all along, so he could smoke the last cigarette.